Hey everybody, look at me. I'm Mr. Meeseeks. No, not so much. I really should settle for FOP. Anyway, I guess I should try to keep it down. My mate's still trying to sleep, pretending to anyway. So, grab your cup of coffee and join me for the simultaneous sip. I guess that's somebody else's shtick, at least it was. He probably shouldn't have got those shots. All right. Right. I thought I'd address some of the comments because there were some great questions. I should pull those up, but I can't because I'm not on the internet right now, but I'll try to remember them. One guy wrote a really thoughtful and hilarious comment asking me just, what is it about? Like he wanted to know if it sucked sailing into the wind, and because he'd never sailed a trimaran. And no, I can't speak for all trimarans because I don't have very much experience sailing on other trimarans. Just my nettleship that I've done a lot of experimenting with, and but basically it just had inflatable outriggers, so that's a whole different deal. And this Farrier design sails great into the wind. And I know that from practical experience because when I first crossed the Pacific with my buddy Ben, we got into every club race that there was along the way. And I'm pretty sure we won every race. Some races we were back in the clubhouse having a beer before the second place people crossed the finish line. And we were up against some really sweet racing boats on a few occasions. And I remember at one point in this one race, I can't remember, we were in Fiji or something, and there was this, I can't remember the name of the design, I'm not good at that stuff, and he was in front of us. And we were hard on the wind, as hard as we could be, and we were doing exactly the same heading that these guys were. We weren't falling off any at all. So we can point as high as any boat. There's probably some that can beat us, but she points well. She does well going upwind. Another question that guy asked was, how is this boat heaving to when you heave to? Well, first of all, if I don't have to, I would never heave to in this boat, because when the going gets rough, this boat gets going. And so that's what you want to do. Like, there was this one horrific storm that we were in when we left Cook Islands, and we were headed out to go, we were on our way to Tonga, I guess. And we were going to go to some other places before Tonga, but the wind picked up and the seas picked up, and we got blown off every destination we were headed to. At first it was like Aitutaki when we left Rarotonga. We were going to go there. But it was just too rough, so we kept turning down, And the seas picked up until they were like 40, 50-foot seas. And with the tops of the waves were falling off big time. And it looked horrific, And another guy that left when we did, we got to hear his story, and he said, and he'd been around the world 1.5 times already in his monohull. He had like the center cockpit, like 46-foot monohull, and he said that a couple of times waves broke over his stern for the first time in his sailing career and came into his cockpit, and he'd never had that happen before, But in this boat, every time we got on a wave, the waves couldn't break on our stern because our speed picked up, and we just danced away from them, just slid right away. I mean, it would look like a wave was going to come crashing into our stern, but then our speed picked up, and off we went. At one point, we were going without any sails at all, and we were hitting regularly speeds 16, 18 knots with no sails whatsoever. So we would never want to heave to, but one time we had to heave to because our rudder case, 2 times actually, 2 times this happened. You'll recall this if you're still awake, baby. Our rudder case fucking broke, and we had to take it off and repair it. So there we were, adrift, and the seas weren't as bad as they were that time that I just mentioned, but they were rough seas, and she did pretty good. We weren't quite pointing into it as well as your typical monohull would be hove to, but we were mostly pointing into it. Only twice in like those 48 hours over 2 periods when we were hove to, sort of, did waves slam against an ama and come splashing up over the top. Wasn't very bad. It wasn't too concerning. I mean, we slept comfortably both times during the night in those experiences. So she's all right, hove to, but it's not something you would do. And it would have been nice during those occasions to have experimented and just seen what it was like to throw out a drogue, something small, something that would kind of, just help our nose come into it a little bit more. I don't know if it would have helped or not, but it would have been interesting to check it out. But like I say, that wouldn't be a strategy I think you'd ever need to employ as long as you have space out in front of you, room out in front of you to run with it. So yeah, you wouldn't. And like everybody says, in sailing, speed is safety. You get it, it really is. So what else was mentioned in the comments? What else did he ask? Oh yeah, about storage in the amas. Sure, there's a lot of storage over there, but I only put light stuff in either amas, which is great because you do have light things that you want to get out of your way in the main cockpit. Like I've got a big fender in one of the amas, and I carry a bunch of foam. I carry this EPS foam around because it's handy to build stuff with if you want to put things together. We just recently built a new kind of floor in here that drops down in the cockpit. I think I can show you that. Space. We have more space than we need, honestly. We've got 3 separate areas where we can both sleep. We've both slept together up in the bow. We sleep here in the main cabin, and we sleep in the aft cabin. Plenty of room. Not so much room up in the bow in the V berth, but plenty of room for 2 average-sized people. Even big people could sleep in the aft cabin, tall people, because you've got all that room for your legs under the cockpit. So it's like somebody like 6'6" could sleep without their toes hanging over the edge. And what other questions did that was hilarious comment. I appreciated that. I'll do a walkthrough soon of the boat and show you everything there is to see. I should show you a few things right now because we tried to do a walkthrough yesterday and it turned out being 23 minutes long, and I didn't even get to everything. But we did it on the camera, and we can't upload what's on the camera onto the computer because that's all screwed. So I have to do this on the laptop. Anyway, Novi found a pillow over there yesterday. Another great score. She scores things all the time. She just finds great stuff. You wouldn't believe the stuff she's found. Just your find. Oh, that was my find, the pillow. Right. I find stuff once in a while too. But one time she found $7,000 worth of edible marijuana candies in a dumpster. I'm not kidding. In Honolulu, Hawaii. she didn't see the fine print, you know, that these were cannabis candies. And so she ended up eating like, you know, like 25 doses. I was asleep when that happened, but she told me the story the next morning. It was hilarious. We had so much, you know, I didn't want to keep it all on board, so we gave it to like all of the cruisers there. We just were passing out these candies, and that was so funny because a few hours later the place looked like a zombie set. People were hanging on to pylons. I couldn't hardly believe it. That was hilarious. Darling, are you gonna get up? No, she's not getting up. Not getting up. So there was some other comments, asked some questions about things that suck. Like I say, I can't speak for all trimarans because they're not all the same, you know. Some trimarans are more like 3 monohulls that have just sort of been stapled together somehow with their beams, but they're not really trimarans because all the hulls want to be in the water all the time. And that's the reason this baby points so well into the wind, because the way Ian designed these hulls is that when they go in, you know, the hulls start off pretty narrow and pointy, so you don't get a lot of buoyancy right away. So a lot of the AMA digs in as soon as it's going in, so you get a lot of wetted surface quickly as soon as you tip over, as soon as you start to heel over. It's like you're getting another keel, boom. And then as you're digging in, you know, then the buoyancy starts to increase. It increases dramatically, and there's a lot of buoyancy, more buoyancy up at the front, so it keeps your bow up so you don't dive into the waves too deep. And so, I mean, over the years, I had a centerboard for years, and I started experimenting to check out and see just how well the centerboard was improving our performance upwind. And so I was just experimenting with my chart plotter in the similar conditions and checking it out. And in the end, I discovered the centerboard wasn't helping at all. It wasn't improving our performance one little bit. So I decided to get rid of it because it's, you know, it's extra weight, it's extra complication with the lines, the rig. And I wanted to free up the space in the centerboard case, so now we store things in the centerboard case. I'm glad I got rid of it. I don't like having a big hole in the center of the hull. It was a maintenance problem, and since I've covered that all up and sealed it up, I'm really glad I did. And you know, I was always having to repair the damn thing, because you have your centerboard down like when you're coming into an atoll or someplace and you don't realize you're about to hit a balmy and you hit it, and then you got to pull your centerboard out and repair it. Don't do that anymore. So yeah, all right, I'll get back to you with more later. Thanks for watching and commenting. Bye for now.